This is my presentation on what leadership means to you. My first interviewee is Christopher Pettigrew. He is a Vice President Investment Executive. He is 43 years old, a Methodist. His education is four-year college at Northern Kentucky University. His experience is wealth advisor at Morgan Stanley for 2 years, senior financial advisor at Fifth Third for 5 years, assistant vice president investment executive for 2 years. I asked his definition of leadership, and his definition was a person or organization's ability to move people in a common direction or towards a common goal. A leader has clear objectives, goals, strategies, and measures. When I asked him what makes an effective leader, he said, I think a great leader possesses an intangible trait that people may respond to or react. The it factor, you don't know what it is, but people react to it. It's a quality that makes people respond to you. They also can find common threads throughout a group of people and use that to move them. Great leaders don't melt down at setbacks, but rather assesses the problem to move forward. One of the questions I thought was appropriate to ask was, do you think people are born to be leaders? He said yes, genetic and environmental factors play a certain part. For example, if you grow up in a quiet house where you don't speak your opinion, then you won't have much say when it comes to making decisions for a group. But if you grow up in a house where people always speak their opinions and show leadership, then you're more likely to pick that and become one. I asked the question of what's the difference between management and leadership. He said management is more like following policy and procedures set up by upper management. They're taskmasters, and it's a skill to master to become a great leader. And leadership is choosing a strategic goal or direction to take a group of people, and they assess the environment around them to make decisions based on the environment. A common thread between them is inspiring and motivating the people they are representing. Example of an effective leader he chose from history is Elon Musk. He took an idea of electric car that everyone thought would be impossible and turned into a reality just with his passion and conviction. His personal was many different people. He looked up to people who achieved something new and different. Some examples he told me was Tony Hawk, who achieved the first 900 aerial half-pipe, and Peter Croft, who free climbed Yosemite. The next interview I have is Dan Hafer. He's the financial center manager at Fifth Third Bank. He is 33 years old. His religion is Catholic. His education is four-year college degree at University of Dayton. His experience as a personal banker at Fifth Third for 3 years. He's a mortgage loan officer for 1 year. His definition of leadership is getting a group of people together to accomplish a goal. When I asked him what makes an effective leader, he said good communicator, empathetic, organized, and goal-oriented. I also asked him, do you think people are born to be leaders? He says, I believe someone is born to be a leader, and the way they are just draws the people to them. And then the next question was the difference between management and leadership. He says, done by someone appointed to manage, and managers have defined goals. Leadership, on the other hand, leaders may not have a goal, but leads toward an undefined goal. And one of the quotes he said that stood out to me during the interview was, anybody can be a leader, but a manager is appointed. So that was one of the main differences. Examples of an effective leader he chose from history was Abraham Lincoln. He said he had a clear objective and goal, rose above adversity. His opinion wasn't popular, but he believed in it and stayed true to it. And then a personal leader that he had was Doug Hafer, which was his brother, the oldest of 4 siblings. He was an attorney, and he says he sticks to his beliefs, perseveres through everything, and is really religious. The next interview I have is Christopher Buick. He's an assistant manager, Corp of Clerk. He is 27 years old. His religion is Catholic. His education is finished at Elder High School and didn't attend college. His experience is a construction laborer for 4 years in the Department of Clerk of Courts for 7 years. His definition of leadership is someone who takes control and not afraid to fix issues, to encourage someone to step up and is not afraid to try. What makes an effective leader? He said good attitude, fun to be with, lead by, set goals so they can be reached, not afraid to admit mistakes, and intelligent. I asked him, do you think people are born to be leaders? He said leaders are not born. Leadership is a role that comes from parents, grandparents, friends, neighbors, coaches, Inc. What is the difference between management and leadership? He said management is more forced, it's controlling, bossy, they order people around, it maintains a position, doesn't want to take the extra step, and does things by the book. Leadership is more voluntary, helps people out, not afraid to step in and help, especially with little tasks, always wants to take the next step, does whatever feels right. Some examples of an effective leader, he said, from history was Donald Trump. He runs a billion dollar company which went into bankruptcy, and he brought his company back off the ground and got there by having lots of energy, not afraid to say what's on his mind, is very intelligent. And then a personal leader that he had was Coach Tim and Nick Cohill. He said that they pushed us, wanted us to be winners, didn't take crap from anyone, disciplined the team, there was no slacking, smart, know how to have fun and make the game fun and to play. And the main thing that I liked was they knew the game. Nothing better than a coach knowing the game. The next person I have is Jackie Williams. She is a court clerk. She is 42 years old. Her religion is Baptist. She's 2-year college degree at Miami University. Her experience is supervisor of scanning division at the county courthouse for 7 years, and now a court clerk at the county house for 13 years. Her definition of leadership is a person who can lead a group of people in an activity or job, and a person with good management skills. And then I asked her what makes an effective leader. She said task-oriented, stays focused and on task, able to take the lead of any task over a group of people, diligent, and works with their team. What is the difference between management and leadership? Her response was there's really no difference in leadership and management because I think they go hand in hand. Being an effective leader, you must know how to manage, manage time, manage people, all that, etc., etc. I asked her an example for an effective leader from history. She said Bill Clinton. During his leadership of the United States, our economy was on the rise. We had low unemployment and inflation rates. And lastly, the last interviewee I had was Gregory Bellman, an attorney. He is 54 years old. His religion is Catholic. He has a 4-year degree, bachelor's at University of Cincinnati, and attended law school for 3 years. His experience was military Navy Gobies for 6 years, military reserve for 1 year, substitute teacher at public schools for a couple years, self-employed as an attorney at Weber, Dickey, and Bellman attorney at law for 17 years. His definition of leadership was providing good examples for people have to have that type of relationship with people. And then the things that make them effective leaders: honesty, character. Word means something, I'm going to do something. Instead of just saying you're going to do something, you actually do it. Giving random rewards, let them know that they are appreciative. No contest because he likes making everybody a winner, not just making one person feel good about themselves. And communication, asking things and questions for providing reasoning, and then listening. Do you think people are born to be leaders? Was one of the questions I like to ask him. He said yes, there are some people who have born to lead. Every leader has their own style. When people become more secure about themselves, the greater the risk, the greater the rewards that comes with it. I asked him what the difference between management and leadership was. Management was not a good leader, trying to climb a ladder, standing on other people's shoulders, catching the next position when it happens, and yelling at people. Leadership was no promotions, getting things done, usually does the basic work, treats everyone as they're important, and then asking people instead of yelling or telling them. And then examples of an effective leader from history, he found the founding fathers. Jefferson was political, learned over the years. Washington took his leadership role as a soldier, made bad decisions before the revolution, fate and luck, but he did what it was needed at the time. Franklin, studious individual. As a personal leader, he chose Don Weber, which is one of his partners at the attorney. He is ethical and personal. He had been there and done that. He's a gentleman, somebody I really respect and with similar paths in our lives. So someone he could relate to. Looking at the difference in defining leadership, I found that, people being encouraged around to step up and not be afraid to try, providing good examples for people around them and following them, having a close and personal relationship with people who are following. Those stood out to be differences that I've learned from defining leadership. And then the most common definition of leadership during the interviews I found was a person or individual who leads a group of people or organization towards a common goal. And then choosing the closest definition to mine was Chris Pettigrew's and Dan Hafer's. They both had the same idea, a person leading a group of people to a common goal. My definition was an individual who can step up and take charge in leading a group of people to accomplish any goals. I believe that it's a strong, any kind of strong person can stand up and lead. So, and that is the end of my presentations. Thank you for watching.